Hi everyone, I'm Ryan. Welcome back to my garage. I'm going to carry on the paintwork on the Superdream. So when I left off, it was painted, it had lacquer applied. I haven't started to rub it back or cut it or polish it. So this is where we are. So after I put out last week's video, I read some comments, gave it more thought, and I thought to myself, why have I got more lacquer left? It's no good in a tin. So I've actually applied all of the lacquer I had onto this tank. So it's now had about 5 coats of lacquer. It still looks good, it still looks shiny. But from everything I've seen and read, I should be able to get a much better finish if I now rub this back, cut it, polish it. I'm genuinely scared to ruin this now, but I think that's the way forward. So I'm going to get on with it. Okay, so I've got some 2000 grit paper. Let's cut that into a couple of pieces. So we've got a couple of squares of that. I've got down here a bucket of warm water. So we're going to soak that. I've got a sprayer with some warm water in it as well. So we're going to get lots of water on this. We're going to use soaked paper. And I think it's just a question of very slowly and very gently just cutting this back, making sure I go over all of it as gently as I can. Just try and take it back to a very smooth finish, but I'm expecting this to actually lose some of its shine. This is going to take hours. Okay, so that's after the 2000 grit. Sprayed with water to make it shiny, but I'm looking for something in the paint that shouldn't be there. And so far, I've been around most of the tank, and I am seeing what I think is a pretty reasonable result. So, yeah. I believe that will polish up alright. I don't really know. I don't know what I'm doing. But I don't think I've ruined it just yet. I think at least with a wax that should be fine. So let's see, that's drying out now, that side. But, okay, we'll see. I'm trying the 2000 grit on the panels as well. These at the moment are less shiny than the tank, but they've had the same paint, they've had the same lacquer, so hopefully with a bit of luck they will polish up and then match. But what I'm not keen on is having panels that don't match the tank, so I am aiming to get the same level of shine on both. Whether that's realistic, feasible, I've no idea. That's what I'm aiming for anyway. let's just see if it cuts back the same way, and then if it polishes up the same. We will see. Or I might be just destroying them. Maybe I'm just scratching them to hell, and I'm going to wish I'd left them alone. We'll find out together. Well, I haven't had a lot of time this week. The weather outside has been awful, all the storms. Hope everyone's safe. I got away with no damage or anything. It just disrupted what I had planned. And my son came to visit me, which was particularly nice this weekend. Not seen him in a while because he's been living abroad. So it's nice to just spend some time together. Right, I'll just carry on with this and we will see how it ends up. So in between rubbing down coats on the tank, what I do need to do is remove the decals from the tail unit. So I'm just warming them up in front of the fire, and then they're peeling off. So I have to keep it going slowly and keep warming it up. But for 40-year-old decals, they're coming off okay. I certainly can't complain. Just have to be patient. Warm a bit, peel a bit. Hello, right, it's now the next day. So yesterday I realised I didn't have any 2500 grit paper. So I left it overnight and it's done exactly what I was told to expect. It looks completely dull and white, which is exact. So I'm not panicking because I saw Nat go through this when he was painting. I think I just need to carry on, keep going back. There's a little bit more on these edges and there's a bit more over here that I think needs a bit more attention. So I'm going to go up to 2500, plenty of water, and keep going, keep sanding, and hopefully it will just improve. It needs to, because at the moment it looks bloody awful. Okay, so whilst wet it looks fantastic. Let's see what it's like when it's dry. You all know how flattering wet paint is, so that's got loads of water on it at the moment, but it's had about another 40 minutes of just rubbing back with 2500 grit. So let this dry, then I'll begin the cutting. So I've got some cutting compound to use, and I think that's the next stage. Okay, well, having gone to the trouble of doing the tank and the side panels, the tail was going to be a different black unless I painted that as well. So I've just quickly scuffed all that up, taken all the dirt off and got it ready for some primer. And then I realised if I'm doing that, I better do something with the mudguard. So this is not the right mudguard, it's a very solid, but it's a plastic mudguard. I wasn't sure whether I'm going to keep it or not, but I don't have an alternative at the moment. So whilst I'm painting everything else, I'm going to paint this as well. It's quite bubbled up here. It's got this old gold striping on it I need to take off. I'm going to do it in the same paint as the rest of the bike, so at least everything matches. And then if I can get a chrome replacement proper mudguard at some time in the future, well, so be it. But if I can't, this will at least look appropriate. So let's get on with cleaning that up. Okay, so I'm just rubbing down the surface of this mudguard so I can prepare to prime it. And interestingly, look, there's damage. There's something's clearly eaten into the plastic at some point in the past. So there's just some few holes in this area here. The rest of it looks quite smooth. So that's going to need a bit of repair if I'm going to paint that. So I don't think I've got a choice. I need to get a bit of filler out and just run a little smooth bit of filler in that and then rub that back, and hopefully then it will be alright. Now this is plastic, but it's extremely hard. It's not flexible, so I think I can just use normal filler on that, and I think that should be alright. So better do that next. Okay, that's the tailpiece cleaned up, panel wiped and suspended in the air on the block. So I'm now going to just give it a go with a plastic primer and just prepare it up. Okay, that's the tailpiece primed up, and that can now just harden off and be left to one side for a while before I start trying to put any further paint on that. Well, that's where my tank is at the moment. It's been rubbed down with 2500 grade paper. It feels fantastic. It looks dull. There's no shine to it. It's certainly nowhere near ready. If this was the finished result, I'd be pretty upset with myself, but I have not cut it back yet. So the next thing I need to do is cutting compound. But it's really late. I'm running out of time. I think to get a video out this week, I'm going to have to cut here, and we'll try and get the cutting done in the next few days, and then hopefully we'll get to see the end result. The other items over here, we've got side panels which have been rubbed to the same extent. Again, they're dull, they're sort of a bit white, not good. The tail piece is drying here in primer, and the mudguard has got some filler on it, which is just needs time to harden off before it can be rubbed back and continued. So that is me done for this weekend. So thank you everyone who's continuing to follow me in this journey. I feel like this week I've put in a lot of hours for almost no reward. In fact, I'm feeling I'm going backwards, but I think that's the correct step. I think I'm doing the right things. I have to believe in it, carry on, put in the time, put in the hours. Hopefully we get a good result. So until next week, please don't forget, like, subscribe, share this channel. Anything you can do to help me, very much appreciated. Otherwise, goodbye for now.